Hello there. Thank you so much for joining us. This is News Channel Nebraska. My name's Eric McKay. Let's take a look at our top headlines today. A 16-year-old boy in Lincoln has been stabbed to death and the suspect in custody, just 14 years old. It happened over the weekend. Officers responding to a home in Lincoln on North 64th Street to a report of a fight in progress. Police say they found the 16-year-old boy who'd been stabbed in the chest. Police were able to render aid until he could be taken to an area hospital where he was pronounced dead. A 14-year-old boy from Lincoln has been taken into custody. Police say they're not seeking any other suspects at this time. They are asking witnesses or anyone with any information to come forward. No names have been released due to the age of those involved and to allow for family notification. Authorities have identified the teen whose body was found in a lake at Schmid Park over the weekend. Sarpy County authorities say 14-year-old Adrian Thompson drowned in the lake Friday evening. Officials with the Sarpy County Sheriff's Office say they were called after Thompson, while swimming with friends, went under the water and never resurfaced.
They're swimming across the lake. He went under, he never resurfaced. So we responded. We searched until around midnight last night. Started up first thing again this morning and been searching the rest of the day today.
Thompson was a student in the Papillion La Vista School District. His body was recovered Saturday evening. A Wells Fargo bank in Lincoln sustained $130,000 worth of damage after a car crashed into one of its walls. It happened yesterday. Police called to the bank just before 10 a.m. Police say the 61-year-old driver of the vehicle stepped on the accelerator while parked in front of the bank and crashed into the wall. Police say the driver was cited for negligent driving. Police say the vehicle sustained $4,000 worth of damage due to the crash. A Southeast Nebraska Sheriff's Office is investigating a pair of deadly crashes that took place on two separate days. The Otoe County Sheriff's Office says the first crash happened Friday at an intersection south of Unadilla. The driver of a southbound trailer lost control and rolled down an embankment. Authorities say 86-year-old Larry Halverson was pinned inside and died at the scene. The second crash happened early yesterday on Highway 2 just east of Syracuse. Sheriff's officials tell us 24-year-old Michael Salvato was driving the wrong way on the highway and crashed head-on with a westbound sedan, sending that sedan into a passenger bus. The driver of the sedan, 56-year-old Ann Fields, died at the scene. Salvato was hospitalized. He's expected to survive. The passengers on the bus were not injured. Authorities are investigating a vehicle fire that shut down the interstate in southeast Nebraska. It happened yesterday on I-80 near Seward. Seward Fire and Rescue says the back trailer of a semi caught fire. The driver of the semi was able to disconnect the trailer from the cab. The trailer was destroyed, but the truck itself was not damaged. Seward fire officials say the fire started after a wheel bearing on the trailer sparked. No one was hurt. The fire did shut down the westbound lanes of the interstate for about an hour. Well, the independent candidate running for U.S. Senate in Nebraska spent his weekend campaigning in the north central part of the state. Dan Osborne was in Valentine on Friday. That's the hometown of his competitor, current Republican Senator Deb Fischer.
Well, people are frustrated with Deb Fischer. You know, she went into the United States Senate with a net worth of $300,000. Now she's worth $4 million. Nobody can name one thing that she's done for them, especially in her own hometown.
Osborne says Cherry County had one of the lowest turnouts for the current senator in last week's primary. Less than 69% of Republicans in the county voted for Fischer. The only lower number was neighboring Sheridan County, around 68%. A house fire in Norfolk did over $50,000 worth of damages. It happened Saturday. Just before 10:30 a.m., crews sent to the fire just outside of downtown Norfolk. Crews say they saw smoke and flames coming from the structure. Authorities able to get the blaze under control after about 10 minutes. No one was hurt. The house itself sustained just over $50,000 worth of damages. another $25,000 to the contents. The cause of the fire has not been determined. Great Plains Health in North Platte is announcing they're withdrawing Medicare coverage for patients starting next year. This includes at their health clinics and different independent practices in the North Platte area. Patient care, access, and affordability all listed as concerns in the decision. A patient should now opt into traditional Medicaid coverage during open enrollment season, which starts October 15th through December. All patients will still have access to emergency care, regardless of their insurance or their ability to pay through the emergency department. There will be educational sessions in North Platte with local insurance agents later this month and early next with local agents to help residents discuss their future options. The 87th Fire School was over the weekend in Grand Island with an emphasis on hands-on training. The State Volunteer Firefighters Association hosts the event annually alongside the Fire School Committee. 33 classes are included in the school, ranging from fighting fires to safety and leadership. Grand Island Fire Chief Corey Schmidt says first responders often only get one opportunity to get things right. He says that's why this type of training is so important.
Training opportunities are harder and harder to come by. And I think in a world of online classes, we need more hands-on training because firefighting is a hands-on service. We get dirty, we go out and perform the work, and our training should mimic that. So we need actual hands-on drill ground classes that test our knowledge, test our ability in a real-life type situation, and this makes that possible.
Governor Jim Pillen spoke to the students, praising their work and dedication. Some 1,200 students from across the state expected to go through the classes. The fire school wrapped up yesterday. Well, spring means farmers market season is back in Nebraska. The Hastings Farmers Market returned to the Hastings Museum parking lot over the weekend. Vendors will be set up there each Saturday from 8 to noon throughout the summer and fall. Hastings will have a second farmers market, that one held downtown each Thursday evening, beginning June 6th. Well, if you're expecting gas prices to jump, you're not alone. But as Joe Jordan tells us, that hasn't been the case in Nebraska, while other parts of the country are complaining.
Over the past week or so, some Nebraska gas prices have unexpectedly gone down. Last month, many experts were predicting a rise in prices as those more costly summer blends come online. But in and around Omaha, we've seen prices at $3.13 a gallon, several at $3.09, and one station in town dipping below the $3 a gallon mark, hitting $2.99. As for the rest of the state, the average price of a gallon of gas in Nebraska is currently $3.32 a gallon. That's down from $3.40 a gallon last month and down from $3.34 a year ago.
This is one of the most important charts.
At the same time, though, in California, lawmakers are looking at possible penalties for oil companies that are gouging the public.
Some of us come from very disadvantaged communities. These are the consumers that are going to really bear the brunt of the cost hikes.
I think personally that the oil companies, the four major companies that control our refinery market here, are manipulating prices.
As for the gas companies,
I really would like to get back to where we worked together to solve problems. In this state, we used to do that. And right now, it's just political rhetoric and division.
Back here in Nebraska, it's wait and see what the price at the pump does next. In Omaha, Joe Jordan, News Channel, Nebraska.
A new report shows hunger levels in Nebraska are increasing. The findings by Feeding America, the nation's largest hunger relief organization, says food insecurity exists in all 93 of Nebraska counties. Over 267,000 were food insecure in 2022. It's a 37% increase from 2021. Additionally, over 91,000 children, 1 out of 5, experience higher food insecurity rates than the general population. Another finding shows almost 60% of people facing hunger in Nebraska may not qualify for SNAP benefits because of restrictions based on household income. Preliminary data from the Department of Labor shows a sixth straight month of unchanged unemployment in the state. Nebraska has not seen a change in unemployment from 2.5% since October of last year. Nebraska continuing to rank one of the lowest unemployment states in the country, fourth behind Vermont and both Dakotas, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. At a national scale, the unemployment rate up to 3.9%, up 0.1 percentage point from March. A new casino in Columbus opened its doors for the public for the first time on Friday. Harris Columbus features a 17,000 square foot casino with 400 slot machines, table games, and a 2,100 square foot sports and betting area. It's the first time Caesars Sportsbook has accepted wagers in Nebraska. There's also a 1-mile horse track that will host 15 live races every Friday from August 16th through September 15th. The hotel still under construction next to the casino. It's expected to connect to the casino later this year. Fans of Nebraska football now have a full timeline to look ahead to for the proposed renovations to Memorial Stadium, but with some major changes. Athletic Director Troy Dannon says he met with committee members with the Board of Regents and came to the decision that the South Stadium won't be torn down after the upcoming season. In 2022, before his surprise departure, then Athletic Director Trev Alberts announced a $450 million project for the 100-year-old stadium. Initially, plans would have removed 25,000 seats for the 2025 season when the new South End was being built. Instead, the focus will be on designing and planning improvements for the East and West stadiums starting no earlier than after the 2025 season. Dannon said they are not seeking board approval for work beyond the Phase 1 upgrades already approved last October. Pancakes and sausage, always a crowd favorite, right? Well, for the village of Waterloo, it's tradition. Hundreds gathered yesterday at Waterloo Fire and Rescue Headquarters for their annual pancake feed. It was originally scheduled a few weeks back, but was delayed because of the recent tornadoes.
Every year, we're so blessed to have so many members of our community and the outlying communities come to the station here, have some breakfast, and support our department.
We were shocked there were so many people so early this morning, and the weather was crappy. It was pouring rain, but man, you could barely get in the building. It was so busy. So I love seeing that.
The money collected this year will go toward a new water rescue boat. The hundreds who showed up said they were happy to support the cause. Waterloo Fire and Rescue say they're looking to raise somewhere between $45,000 and $55,000. This past weekend was dedicated to those who served in the military in one Nebraska town. Saturday was American Legion Poppy Day in North Platte. Legion Post 163 distributed poppy flowers to honor veterans. The poppy was adopted as the memorial flower for World War I veterans in the 1920s. The movement spread nationwide in the 1950s, traditionally held on the Friday before Memorial Day. This was the 58th year American Legion Post 163 in North Platte has distributed poppies to residents. It's take two for the Support Our Schools Nebraska campaign. A second petition drive underway to repeal a Nebraska law that would send public dollars to private schools. This after Secretary of State Bob Evnen pulled the LB 753 referendum off the ballot last week. That's because the Nebraska legislature repealed LB 753 with the passage of a new law, LB 1402. This one directly appropriates public funds to a fund that creates scholarships for private schools. Now, petitioners are out a second time after delivering 117,000 signatures to the Secretary of State last year.
The fact that we got almost double the amount required was an amazing feeling.
I am extremely hopeful that this does go through and they don't try to repeal it again.
Supporters of LB 1402 have insisted the scholarship fund is a tool to help low-income families have an option to change schools. The LB 1402 repeal petition needs 60,000 signatures, including 5% of voters in at least 38 counties by July 3rd. Over 170 seniors walked out of Beatrice High School, diplomas in hand, yesterday. Commencement exercises were held at the Beatrice High School Ozone Gymnasium. 5 graduating seniors were co-valedictorians, all of them earning a 4.0 grade point average throughout high school. There were 47 graduating seniors earning at least a 3.5 GPA. One of the class speakers, Devin Viveros, said the seniors made their way through high school in an internet and emerging technologies world where sometimes fact and fiction are hard to separate.
It's important to embrace the education that we have received. Yet it is also essential to recognize that our pursuit of knowledge doesn't stop when we walk out those doors in a few minutes. Now that we are finalizing our high school journey, we can finally move on to the next step in our life. We can now find our own unique method to learn through the experience of life.
Beatrice High School Principal Jason Suter was leading his final graduation ceremony after 36 years with Beatrice Public Schools as a teacher and administrator. And you can stay up to date with the very latest by following us online. Head to newschannelnebraska.com and click on the News tab there. You can also follow us on X, like us on Facebook and Instagram as well. Thank you so much for joining us. Have a great day. You're watching News Channel Nebraska.